check exchange rate types. So as we discussed yesterday, it's just only a variant. You can also create your own variant and then you can maintain the rates. But since SAP has given an option M, and this rate is M is already maintained in our settings. That is, if I go here, and you can see for my company code I have already maintained M as the setting, so we can use the same setting. So it's only a variant and nothing else. Else you can also create a new and then come and assign the standard exchange rate type here. So it's left to you. But in our case, I will use only the M, them as the transaction M rate. What are the rates I'll be going? I'll be maintaining against this exchange rate type M. So the first step is defining the exchange rate type. So I'll be using the standard exchange rate type given by SAP. So this is my first step. The second is define translation ratio for currency translation. So in this step, just click on yes. So in this step, for each pair of currency, for each pair of currency, for example, if you're dealing in INR or Euro, you have to specify the ratio, that is whether it would be 1:1 or 1:100. So in most of the pair of currencies, it will be always 1:1, but there are exceptions like one is Japanese yen, where when you ask for the quote, they will always quote in 1:100. For example, for 1 USD, they will tell how many Japan yen you will be getting it, or the other way, for 100 yen, how many USDs you will be getting. So it's always quoted in 1:100. And there's another more currency like THB, again that is also quoted in Thai baht, I think, I don't remember, but that is also quoted in 1:100. So here, based on the pair of currency which you are dealing, you will be maintaining against for your exchange rate type. For example, if I click on position, since my exchange rate type is M, so therefore I'll specify M, and I want to maintain the ratio between USD and INR. So what I will do, USD will type and I will say INR. So since this is already maintained, you don't have to do any settings here. If you find if for any pair of currency, if the setting is not there, you will come and maintain. So in our cases, since we are dealing with so we have to just check USD and Euro. So we'll see whether that is maintained or not. IN is already for USD and INR we already have. So we'll see also for the other set of currencies, and then we'll try to post. So the other is INR to Euro to INR. We'll see just an example. Here also see it's already there. For most of this, for most of the pair of currencies, it would be there. So you don't have to go and maintain it. You just understand that ratio is nothing but when you try it in reality, how the conversion happens, whether it's 1:1 or 1:100. So apart from that, if we don't do any settings here, so if you're dealing it, if that ratio is maintained, you don't do any changes here. If not, go and maintain the ratio. So this is our second step, and the most important steps is this enter exchange rates. So here we specify for each exchange rate type, for each day, the rate, that is for 1 INR, what is the corresponding value, that is what is the exchange rate. For example, if I specify, let me take an example. If I say M, and I have posted some IUSD, so I want to see what is INR rate. So I'll say M from currency to INR. You can see the latest date. If you post any invoices on 15th, the rate would be picked up 75. But if you post the invoices on 2nd of November, the rate would get picked up as 70. If you try to in between, it means this is how you have to read. From 2/11 till 14/11, the rate would be picked up 70. From 15/11 till the next change. So since the latest rate is 75, till you make any new further line, this is the rate that would be called up whenever you post any invoices in USD. So from 15, this says valid from 15/11. So valid from 15/11. If you don't add any entry, add a new line, the same rate will be called up whenever we try to post any current. Whenever we do an exchange between USD to INR. So the 75 will be called up. But if you try to post any invoices between 2nd of November till 14th of November, it will call up 70. And before November, if you try to post, it will call up 22nd of September. So this is how you have to understand. So this is the valid date. It will check if any new additional line is added. If not, then this rate would be always called up for our exchange rate. So what I will do. So we already have this rate 75.
Sir, how do you determine the date, sir? On what basis?
It's rate. It is here that you can see this valid from is there, right?
Yeah. How do we update that? I mean, whenever we post the document, or how do we do it?
No, we'll see that. I'm just trying to explain that. This is how the rates would be called up. So we'll also maintain the rates. We'll take a scenario and then we'll maintain the rates. So it means that from 15th of November, this rate would be applicable because it says valid from. You can see it says valid from, and this is the rate, that is 75 is the rate. If you try to post any invoice between 2nd of November till 14th of November, this is the valid rate because the new rate is applicable on 15th. So this from 2nd of November till 14th of November, the rate would be always called up as 70. I will try to show, but I mean how this rate is getting called up. Let me go back to SAP. I will say MB01. Now say M-43 will have vendor, right? So M-43. It's the 15th of November. The rate is 15. Okay, I'll do what I will do. I'll just put 10 so you'll understand better. And for here you can see in my company code settings I've said that it should pick up the translation date. So what I will do, I will give the translation date as 15th 11/2021. We'll see how what rate gets picked up, and I will say the rate as USD. This is my document currency. Company code is T001. Just an example, we'll try to maintain the rates also. See here the rate has automatically picked up 75. You can see for $1,000 it has computed 75. And how that had happened? Because in my setting, if I go back to my setting, I've said translation date should be the base, and in the translation date I've mentioned as 15th. So for 15th the rate is 75. So if I put 1st of November, it would compute as 70. So we'll see that also. /n F-43. So what I'll do, I'll put November, 1st November here. Here also I'll put 1st of November. No, I'll just put today's date. We'll see what date gets picked up. So today is 17th. But here in the translation date, because I've specified that it should pick up, for my conversion should pick up translation date, so I'll put, I want to check this rate, so I'll put 3rd of November and see what date it gets picked up, what rate it picks up. So 03/11/2021. I will say now you see it is picking up 70. So because these rates are getting determined based on this settings. So in my company code settings under currencies, I've specified the rate, the exchange rate should be M, and which date it should be picked up. So I've specified it should pick up translation date. So in this case I've given the translation date as 3rd of November, and if you see the third from 2nd till 14th, As I said, it should pick up 17 and it's picking up 17. So this is how you have to understand the rates are this is how the rates are this is how the system is reading the rates. So this is, if some issue comes, then you should be able to see, you should go to fins_ledger. You have to understand what is the exchange rate type and what is the date, and then you come here and check what rate has been maintained, and then you will be able to do some analysis on the issue. So what I will do is that since in FB60, since we are posting in FB60, let me go back to my screen. I'm not finding this the translation date. It would be in second time, I think. So since I'm not finding the translation date, what I will do, I will do a small change. So I will say that in my case, it should not be translation date. I will just change it to document date. So based on this document date, the system will do the conversion. So I'm just doing this small change, and then we will do our testing part. If you don't specify the translation date, the system will always default it with the posting date. For example, okay, it's not here. I'm just opening one document. Click on this hat. Okay, so posting date, translation date. Where is this one? I think after posting only we can see that date. Since we are posting only in INR, the translation date is not coming. Otherwise, it will come in this field. You can see document date, posting date. So translation date is not coming. So we'll see that now. So when we post, you should be able to see the translation date also here. So just did a small change. That is, for our exchange rate determination, it would be the document date, and based on the document date, the exchange rate schedule will get determined. So here is the place we will come and maintain the rates. So as I said, again this exchange rates are maintained. In some companies it's maintained on a daily basis. In some companies the rates are maintained on a monthly basis. Against the business requirement. If they maintain it on a monthly basis, they will give you a rates, and we have to maintain the rates, and we have to move these rates to the production system. So this would be part of month-end activity. So in month-end we do a set of activities. So maintenance of exchange of rates is also part of month-end. That is, this is only applicable in case where the business doesn't maintain the rates on a daily basis, but they have a set of rates which they're gonna use to post their transactions for the whole month. For example, right now we are in month of November. So on November 30th, they will load the rates which are applicable for the month of December. Similarly, and that rates would be applicable for all the transactions which they post in the month of December. Similarly, on the December 30th, they will load the rates for the month of January, and that rates would be applicable for all the transactions which are posted in the month of January. That is found in some companies. In some companies, they do a daily exchange rate. So what they will do, they will have an interface, that is what all that they will get the rates either from their bank or from their any third party agencies, and like Bloomberg. So they will know the rates. That rates they'll be feed in this place on a daily basis through an interface, and then that rate will become the base when that rate gets picked up when we try to post the invoices. So in that case, we don't do any month end. Then in that case, exchange rate would not be a part of our month end activities, because the rates are maintained on a daily basis, and that is done by through an interface. So there's no involvement of us. Initially, we do the development with the help of an ABAP. So what would happen by default on a daily basis, the rates would be updated automatically based on the settings. Since that involves an effort with an ABAP, and it's a customization, so I cannot show you this. I cannot show you how to do that. But just remember, if they ask, you can tell that you can either say that rates are maintained monthly, or you can say that we have an interface with one of the banking, and we'll get the rates on a daily basis via interface. So if you can tell this one, this is fine. Mostly they will not ask, but if the interviewer asks you how the rates are maintained, you can either say it's maintained monthly, or you can say that we have an interface with the banking with XYZ bank, and we get on a daily basis the rates. So what I will do since this is a test system, I will try to maintain the rates, and then we'll see how the system is determining it. And again, you can see here some places we have indirect code, and there's an indirect code and direct code. So we'll understand what is the indirect code and direct code, and then we'll try to maintain the entries. Direct code is used where the cost of 1 unit of foreign currency is given in unit of local currency. That is, we are saying that 1 USD, for example, I'm quoting 1 USD rate in my local currency. My local currency is INR. So I'm specifying that 1 USD equals to how many local currencies. If you specify the rate, this is called as direct code. That is, for each unit of foreign currency, that is USD, how many units of local currency. This is your local currency, nothing but your company currency. So if you maintain the rate, this is called as direct code. For 1 unit of foreign currency is nothing but any other currency apart from your company code currency. So our company code currency is INR. If you maintain rates here apart from INR, those currencies are called as foreign currencies. For each unit of currency, what is the rate in your local currency? If you maintain this way, it is called as direct code. That is, for each unit of foreign currency, what is the unit in local currency? So this is called as direct code. But if you maintain, I think we don't have that scenario. But if you maintain 1 unit of local currency, I'll just maintain it. Click on new, M, valid from 01/11 2021. So this is called as indirect code. That is, I'm specifying 70 INR equals to 1 USD. In the other way, in the direct code, what I was doing, I was mentioning the rates in 1 USD equals to I was specifying the rate, but here I'm doing the other way. That is, I'm specifying my local currency as the base. That is, 70 INR is equal to 1 USD. So if you maintain the rates in this fashion, it's called indirect code. But if you maintain the rates the other way, it's called as direct code. That is, for each pair of foreign currency, you code the rate in you specify the code, and you will get the local currency. So we have direct code and indirect code. So you can use either direct code or indirect code while maintaining the rates. Most of the cases is always the direct code. So direct code is used when the cost of 1 unit of foreign currency is given in units of local currency, that is 1 USD equals to 65 INR. So if you do that, then it's called as direct quote. But if you use indirect quote is used when the cost of 1 unit of local currency is given is given as the unit of 1 unit of foreign currency. So that is called as indirect quote. That is, for example, if you maintain 75 INR equal to 1 USD. We'll take an example. Direct indirect quote. Direct quote is nothing but 1 USD equals to 70 INR. So if you are maintaining this rate, it is called as direct quote. That is, for each foreign currency, we are specifying your local currency values. I will say 1 euro equals to 80 INR. If you are maintaining this in this combination, it's called as direct quote. Indirect quote is nothing but the other way, the opposite way. 70 INR equals to 1 USD or 90 INR equals to 1 euro. So if you maintain the rate in this fashion, it's called as indirect quote. If you maintain the rates in this fashion, it's called as direct quote. In most of the cases, it's always direct quote. But if someone asks you what is the direct quote and indirect quote, you should say that where the rates for each foreign currency is quoted in INR, it's called as direct quote. And indirect quote is nothing but where the cost of 1 unit of your local currency is given in 1 unit of foreign currency. In this fashion, it's called as indirect quote. So just remember this: direct quote and indirect quote. That is when you specify for each currency you specify how much INR, and in this case for each unit for each foreign currency we specify the values in Indian currency. That is 70 INR is equal to 1 USD or 90 INR is equal to 1 euro. So if we maintain this rate, it's called as direct, and this is called as indirect quote. We'll use always more the direct quote, and then we'll try to post some entries. So what I will do is that we'll take this example. For each date, for few of the dates, we'll maintain the rates like 60, 65, 750 and 70. And similarly for euro also we'll maintain some rates for currency INR, and then we'll see how the exchange rate gets determined at the time of invoicing and at the time of payment. For example, in this case, I will use the first rate now 1st of November. The rate is as 60, and then I will try to make a payment on 5th of November. That is, and now the rate is for 65. So the rate has gone up, so I have to pay more. So there will be a loss. So we'll see how that loss will get accounted, because the invoicing was done on 60 and the payment is getting done on 65. So we have a loss of 5. So how we can account it, and what are the configuration settings that are due for this exchange rate difference. So we'll pick up this scenarios, and then we'll try to maintain the rates, and then we'll post an entry. Any questions till what we have covered before I maintain the rates and do the testing part?
No, sir.
Just remember, just remember these all 3 steps: exchange rate, translation ratio, and maintaining the rates. Yeah, that's it. So once we are done, we can. Most important part is maintaining the rates and the other configuration. How will if you get an error, where you have to go and maintain that exchange rate loss and gain. So if you understand that, then you can play around. And also just understand this is the setting. Based on this setting, the system determines whether it has to go for AM or which exchange rate it has to go, and what would be the date. So based on which date it's gonna determine the rate. So we have multiple dates: posting date, transaction date, and document date. So whatever the combination you specify here, based on that the system will always determine the rates. So what I will do, I will go back here, and I will maintain the rates based on these settings: 1, 5, 10 and 15. So you also just maintain rates in Excel sheet, post an invoice, and then compare whether it's matching with your sheet or not. And from that you will be able to understand that system is picking up the rates correctly. So what I will do, I will go here. I'll say M 511. 511. So 1, 5, 10, 11 and 15, 11. So also delete this. So you can see I have maintained rates 1, 5, 10 and 11. And I have maintained the rates as 60, 65, 50, 70. 60, 65, 50 and 70. Same I have maintained it. I'll also maintain it for euro and then we are good with this. Let's see also. Euro. So here the most important thing, we also understand that source. So what we are saying that based on the source, that is document currency would be the base to do the translation. That is in this case document currency is USD. So to determine, in order to convert from USD to euro, it would be again the source would be USD currency and not INR currency. So I just didn't explain this. So you also have to understand this sources. I mean, when we are doing the conversion, what would be the base? Whether it would be the company code currency or a document currency. So in this case, we are specifying document currency, so that when the conversion happens, the conversion would happen based on the USD. So USD to INR. And again in this case USD to euro. So it's for example, if you want to get the values in euro, the document currency with the base, that is USD to euro. We have to maintain USD to euro and not euro to INR. You're able to follow, right? I mean, these settings will tell you which method has to taken and which date has to taken, but it also specify what would be the base, whether it would be the company code currency or it would be the document currency. In this case, we have an option. So it says that document currency, but you can always change it to, you can change this option. You can change it to 10. That is, then what would happen? It will first convert into company code currency and then it will do the changes. So so we'll try what we can do is that since we are maintaining in INR, I will go and change this to as company code currency. I mean, it's left to the business. If they want to use 10, if they want to use document currency as the base, they can do that. Or if they want to use the company code as the base, they can do that. So it's not an hard and fast rule that In some cases, they use company currency. In some cases, they might use the document currency. But it's again a business decision, and based on that, you can maintain it. So in this case, what would happen? Always the company code currency, that is INR, would be the base to do the conversion, to get the values in USD, to get the values in Euro. Let it get saved.
Sir, in that case, for currency conversion, it should always be the company code currency, that is INR.
Yes. Yeah.
Am I right? Or?
Yes, that is you are correct. So what would happen to convert the values into USD? That is to get the values in your group and hard currency. Always company code currency, that is INR value will be the base to get the values in USD and Euro. So we'll see that setting now. So even if okay, so what would happen if you post any? Let it get posted. Let it get posted. We'll see it. Yeah. So now what I'm specifying, that it would convert first. It would convert into company code currency, and company code currency it will convert into USD, and again from company code currency it will derive the values of Euro. So it is not the document currency. I mean, you can use the other way also. So since the rates were maintained in USD, sorry, in INR, I have done this setting. But again, you can maintain it as 00 or 00 also. It's not an it's left to the business how they want to do that, how they want to derive their group currency and hard currency. It's not a fast rule. So in our case, I'm saying that a company code currency will be the base to convert the values into group currency and hard currency. That is, INR would be the base, INR to USD would happen, and INR to Euro would happen. The rates would be. So I've saved it, and now we'll try to maintain the same thing for Euro. And then we are good to post the invoice. So we'll see what rates are maintained for Euro. It is so we have only one entry. 110. So from 110 till now, there's no change. So I'll just copy this. $70, $75, $60, $80. $70, $75, $70. $75. That is 511. So PS 1011, 1511. $1511. So what we're telling to system is that whenever we where is this configuration? So what we are telling is we'll just do one more time, and then we'll post some entries. Yeah. So we are telling to our system to take the exchange rate type as same. The translation date would be document type, and while converting group currency and hard currency values, it will always consider the company currency as the base, that is INR to USD and INR to Euro. So this is how the conversion happen. So this is the setting that we have done it. My exchange rate type is M. the translation would happen based on the document date, that is the date what you have mentioned on my invoice. And when converting the values into USD and euro, into USD and euro, your company code currency is the base, that is INR to USD it will convert, and INR to euro it will convert based on this date. So we will see now what would happen when we try to post an entry, and then we will try whether that's whether the rates are getting matched based on what are the settings we did. So these are only 3 settings which we have to do, and we are now good with the end. Now we'll do some postings and see whether the rates are getting picked up correctly or not. So I maintain the rates also. I will go to MP60 /N MP60. So the rate on 1st of November we'll see invoice date invoice. So I've given the document date, so I'll take 1/11. I'll give reference test 001. I'll say 1000 USD. Click on simulate and just post. So document 18 is posted. Click on display. Now we'll try to see now we'll try to do the comparison. Click on display currency. So document currency is we posted the document in USD. So therefore the document currency is in USD. Come to local currency. The local currency is nothing but your company code currency. So it has picked up rate of 70. So we'll see the date also. See, now it is coming 1711. But in our, you can see this translation date is also coming. But in our case, we told the system that the rate should be picked up based on the document date. So document date is nothing but on 1st of 11. I will go back here. So I will see what rate it has picked up. I'm not using. The 70 is picked up. What is the rate it has picked up? Okay, it got not saved out. I think it did not get saved. Just hold on. It already saved. Okay, let me go back. Document date is there. It should have picked up this date. One level 70 is already there, right? But okay. 1 level. Exchange rate type M. USD is my foreign currency. INR 01 11 02. This may have 16. Let me post it one more time. MP60. 1/11. This is 1000 USD. November only, right? November. I don't know why it's picking up. No, it is picking up translation date of 17th, which is wrong. Let me. It might take I mean, let me. Sometimes the data doesn't get refreshed, so just hold on. Let me know. Let's go for go to simulate. The rate is 60. It should come as 60. 1 minute, I'll try to check it here. Here it is coming as 50. It is on 10, 11. Dashboard. It's picking up posting date, so let me just check. Lecture. It should have picked up this document date. So I'm just checking it one more time. Why it's picking up posting date. So this is the config. I mean, in fins_ledger is the place where you specify. Yeah, but let me just check it.
Sir, in FINC_ledger, have we given posting date, sir?
That
we
is
have
what
changed, right? From
that is what from from translation date I've put it as document date. But let me just check.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Prince underscore linking. It takes some time to open that screen. Okay, to open that. Yeah. 0N. T001. Given it's only document date. But why it's picking up translation date? 13. Okay, understood. Just hold on.
This exchange rate type should also be changed, sir?
No,
Or it would be a
no. I'll just tell you what this
standard.
is. No. Just hold on. Yeah. See here, for company code, it's picking up transaction date. This is what it's causing the issue. This is graded out because on my company old currency, this rate is getting picked up. So here it's maintained as transaction date. So transaction date is nothing but your posting date. So from posting, that's the reason it's calling up posting date. This is the setting. That is, this is at the company code level. That is, when I'm trying to post my company code, the transaction date is it is set as transaction date. So if let me show you. So this is the setting. So if I maintain it here, rate as 111, 01, 11, 2021. 11. Dash 43. See, the transaction date is 111. So for 111, we have maintained the rate as 70. Now it will call up 70 only. Now what I'll do, also change this 511. So now it should call up based on our date, transaction date. It should call up this rate, that is 60. We'll see what system calls up now. 4,000. So it's calling up 60 because in this place, in this setting for company code currency, the rate is given as transaction date. But why I'm not able to change this? This is graded out. So transaction date, if you don't specify transaction date, then system will default the posting date as a transaction date, and then it will determine the exchange rate. So that's the reason when I'm trying to post currency in FB60, it's based on the posting date. The system is determining the exchange rate. I have to see how to get this. How to change this to transaction date. But this has been graded out. Yeah. So it will be always the translation date. So if we have to, if we want to do the conversion, we have to specify the translation date. And if you don't specify translation date, whatever the date is there in the posting date, that gets defaulted to translation date. But how can I do it? So in this, we'll take this example. What I'll do is 111, right? I will give 111 here. I'll also give 111 here. In this case, if I put USD now, okay, let me. Now it will call up our rate, whatever we maintained it. Save. Display. Display currency. It has called up 60. We click on group currency. It's again 1000. Again the same. Okay. Group currency is 85.74. Because for group currency, what we told, it has to pick up the rate. It has to convert into INR currency, and then it has to convert into USD. So that's the reason it's showing a different value. And if I click on this again, if I click on display currency, hard currency, it has picked up this value. Wow. 4200 okay, 70,000 into it did a different computation. We'll try to understand how this value got converted, but we are given okay. Equals what is the rate here? $70. Let me check why system has computed this much value. Let me just check 4,20,000. So okay, display currency. My local currency is 60,000 INR. Okay, 60 INR. And what is the value? 60 into 70. Stop. 4,22,000. Rate is 60. There you go. 60. what I was looking at, so if I click on this one, local currency is fine, but group currency I'm getting a different value. It's coming as 857.14. It should have come as, from INR it should have converted into USD with this rate 60, but it is computing a different value. It should have come as 1000 only. Let me check what is the missing configuration. It's again a rate which is causing this issue. Let me just check and then we'll continue. But this is the place where we do the configuration. I'll get back to you tomorrow how these rates are getting computed. And if any change is required, we'll see that change, and then we will try to post some more invoices. I think the rates got jumbled up, and it's picking up a different rate here. 856.14. 857.14. I will stop the session here. Let me just rework on this one, why incorrect rates are coming, and then we will continue it from tomorrow. And let me just give some time. Tomorrow we'll we'll fix this. We'll do some exchange rate difference part, and then we will do start with withholding taxes. Yeah. Let me just work, and tomorrow we'll see the setting. I will stop it here, and then we'll continue it from tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, sir. No problem.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Yeah.